Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
And this experience, she's my friend, and so she thought this would be a good opportunity for me to, skip and see what's going.
So, are you ready to start to reconvene? Can we do the energy test, guys? Do you have the energy now to reconvene?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what was the CC number?
Sorry. So I was supposed to talk.
Is it two of you talking to us?
No, it's me talking.
Yeah, you talking.
2 hours ago.
That was so like 2 hours ago. It felt like a week ago.
So, do you still have capacity to get more, to learn more?
Yeah.
Do you still have capacity to learn more?
Yeah.
One,
Can we do a dance first?
Yeah.
you want to lead the dance?
Yeah.
Sure.
Come on.
Well, we should
Song.
Yes. Well, we could do a song for sure, but I'm trying to think of something other song and dance.
Yeah, sure.
Like what?
Macarena?
Okay. Who's got it? I don't know all the what? Okay. Somebody have it on their phone? Can we do the Macarena?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt your entire program?
I'm up for it. I can't remember all the steps, but
Okay. Well, let me find
sort
it.
of.
Yes.
You guys up for the Macarena?
If
Whether
you have,
we
Is
are
there
or
anyone
not,
not
there's so much
up for the
peer
Macarena?
pressure right
Well, they can always
if you have a
abstain.
now. Can I
Bluetooth,
put
you
this on
can.
Facebook Live? Awesome.
We could do a
They can
Facebook
always
Live.
abstain,
Totally. I'll find it. You hang on.
If I'm on the other side of the camera on Facebook Live, I'm fine.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Play Macarena.
So,
See what happens. Is Siri on board? You're ready to dance.
It's better to have it on mine because mine is connected to the Bluetooth,
Oh,
so
okay, there you
you'll have the speaker.
go. Okay. I need to invite them in. Oh, Siri, come on.
No, it doesn't work. Mine is still speaking now. So this
The
technology.
first person to find my phone is
The word is so
on
hard.
Spotify. Exactly. You can just go.
Show us this.
Just silly.
There's a period, 30-something, everybody's wedding. Totally do a chicken dance. It's easier. I know all the words.
Yeah.
Which one? You know the original version?
Sure. I don't know. Oh, I don't know which version of Macarena.
Sure.
Sorry?
Oh, he asked. Yeah.
nice.
You guys can sing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Their voice come in.
I gotta figure out the moves.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Where was
Forget the
Sandy?
moves.
Well, oh yeah, okay. Forget how it goes. Okay, hang on. Hey, okay.
Oh yeah.
Wiggle, 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 jump. and up,
gotta get lively.
hip, bump, bump, wiggle, 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 and jump. And up, just keep wiggling. That's what it is. Oh yeah. It's been a while. Sorry. Wiggle, 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 and jump. There we go. I got it now. Wiggle. There it is. This way. This way. Who's not happy? Who is not happy right now? You?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy.
There we go. Okay, I got it now. All right. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. See? Just too much of na. I don't know Spanish. Anybody know Spanish? He's got his own moves going here. Keep going. How'd it go, Shamir? We're almost done. We can quit anytime you want, Shamir.
Oh, I forget this one.
Anytime you want. Just say the word. Move it, shake it, you won't break it. Okay, we're gonna kick it Shamir style though. Come from your heart. Come from your heart. Let's get into coherence. Oh God, this just go on for days. Okay, that's it. I'm out. Woo! Good job, you guys. Starting of the Spanish version.
Just as I was getting it, we got stopped.
High five. That was awesome. Woohoo! Yeah.
This is the only version we know.
Macarena.
There is another
Not
one by
macaroni,
Moss.
but macarena.
Macaroni.
There is another German. It's a German or Italian. When I was young, I was not English nor French because I speak French very well. So.
Uh-huh.
Oui.
And this was not the same. Parlez-vous le français?
Our brains are ready.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Je parle français, oui.
Yeah, nous parlons le français.
Ah ouais.
Nous parlons le français.
Je suis très
And by
français.
doing some of the
Ouais.
cross body movements, that's like brain gym.
Yeah.
So it just kind of helps to.
So welcome back after the brain jam.
Thank you very much.
That was
It's
fun.
your workshop, not mine, you know. All my role here is to facilitate some body of knowledge for you to experience. So. Okay, so where we stand here. So do you remember when I asked you the question, why should I listen to you? What will be your answer?
Hmm.
Why should
I
I listen?
understand how you feel. I acknowledge how you feel.
And then what you say?
Then I'm going to feel felt found.
Then what you should go and say, I understand how you feel. Everybody said the same, or I always hear this.
Right.
However,
My
what-
programs.
or when they listen to me, or when I share with them, or when I sit with them, any of those. And that's why when we talk about public speaking, like how many of you here have a fear of public speaking? Why do you have a fear of public speaking? No, because they want to sell us public speaking is skills. That's it. They want to sell you public speaking skills. They tell you you must fear public speaking. He's still my son. But I used to have a 2 years old son. He's still my son, so but he's not 2 years old anymore. And he's my youngest one. My youngest was a 4. And when he was 2.5 years, he knew how to swim. And he was a bullet guy. He's very, very, very strong, very small, like a ball. And he will see the swimming pool, he forgets, he has clothes on, he loves water. He will run 100, 200, 300 meters. And he throw himself in the middle of the pool and he will jump in. And he can able to float on 6 meters deep. And he will able somehow to manage himself out. Okay? And the reason for him to do this, because everybody, when they sees him, even with life jackets or with whatever he has on there, he's too young to come here. So one time he screwed up a phone because he had a phone in his pocket. One time, he has so many stories, this young man. However, he has no fear. I always tell this story because when we were young, we born with no fear. Then what happened?
We discovered fear.
Everybody around you will tell you what? Don't do that. Oh, be careful. Be careful. You know, if you have a younger than 4-year-old kid or a girl, boy or girl, and if she will fall down and she broke a bone, God forbid, she will not cry. They will only cry when they see the surroundings, the parent, who say, "Oh." So we are born with no fear, and people are getting us the fear. So one way for us as a salesman, how many of you here consider themselves as a salesman?
Sometimes.
1, 2, 3, 4. What about the rest? Do you have a partner in life which is accept you around them? You don't have any partner. Will you have friends? Do you have friends in your life who will accept you to go with them? You are not a salesman, a saleswoman. Do you consider yourself a saleswoman or not?
No, not really.
So how you justify that you were able to sell somebody that they spend with you their time and they will enjoy it? And they spend with you like weekend, going shopping, doing whatever, going to the current retreat or doing whatever. How do you justify they accept this from you and they buy it from you and you are not a good salesman or a saleswoman? All of us are salesmen and saleswomen. The fact is all of us in this room, accepting the one next to us and the one in front of us. The fact is each one is here, not going home or try to be alone or be an island or isolate themselves. It means that everybody around this table were able to sell what? To sell their company. You have now in our company. You enjoy. Did you enjoy the dance? How did she sell you to do the dance? So, if we are born with no fear, and we are right now, as you laughed right now and you accepted that you are now can sell what you have, can sell people to spend time with you, you can sell any kind of thing. If your neighbor is not attacking your house because you sold your neighbor that you are safe to them and they sold you something similar. You remember these guys who have been having the shooting in Florida? You know the neighbor of the killer, what she said about him? She actually called the FBI for him for so many times. Okay? So the fact is you can sell. Why you don't define yourself as a salesman or a saleswoman? Why?
Not getting paid for it.
Or because when we were born and we were raised in these countries, we always have fear of a salesman. How many of you here was raised in a house where somebody will knock the door and people say, "Oh, don't open, it's a salesman outside. Somebody there is trying to sell you something. Oh, don't open the door, somebody's selling something." How many of us have this experience? So why do we have a fear of salesmen? Why do we have a fear of being called salesman?
Probably the upbringing that we receive, or some people receive.
Negative connotation of pressure.
Okay.
Manipulation.
So this is all our perception. Can we live without being salesman? Can we live without being sales? Somebody says, "Oh yeah, I work downtown, I don't need to sell." Come on, you know what? If you don't go every day, and I don't want to use the term sell yourself because I had
Yeah.
few ladies actually one time they actually jump out of from the nowhere and they just give me a hard time, you know. But if you cannot sell the people around you, that you are a good
Person.
character, good person, fun to have around, they will fire you from your work.
Well,
Your son has to sell you the idea that he has to have 3 equipment.
Yeah, my son, yeah.
It's influence, right?
Sorry?
Influence.
It's the influence of our source. And what I did, because I know that we are not trained as a salesman and nobody is sold as a salesman, similar to the question I asked you early on, I had this book. And this book is basically the workbook on how to sell and the closing deal. I believe this is my most recent publication. It's available on Amazon as well. I believe that anyone is in sales must have this book. Not because it's an important book, it's because it's written by me, okay? So you must have anything written by me. Anyway, away from that. Finally got a joke and you laughed at it. I'm happy. I'm so happy. Anyway, in this book I do have 183 objections. And the book is like that. Every page, I don't know how to write English very well, okay? So every page will be like that. Every objections I came across, and I know people can tell you, I have the rule, and what's your job? Write down here to break the rule. So if you are ready to go on the journey of selling, you must be able to answer objections. And to answer objections like what? What you sell is too expensive. What you sell will not work for me.
I don't have time.
You know what? We tried all similar services. None work for us. How you can respond to these objections? So there are rules, there are tools here. And in any sales training whatsoever, if you do multi-level marketing or you do phone selling, they always give you a script. So this is the script for coaches, speakers, practitioners, if they want to go and sell. There's 183. Please, if you get this book or you buy it or whatever, if you find scripts are not there, just let me know, because I'm on all the time collecting more scripts. Because we know what the objections are. I have no time for that. It will not work for me. I have to decide with my wife. The decision is made elsewhere. We just paid our credit card. And you don't want to make more charges on it. This is number one objections if you sell $60,000 to $100,000 solutions. Because I work with people who are selling $60,000 to $100,000 financial solutions. And I'm very well connected to them. Although they are connected now with the president, so the business actually went in a side way, but I learned a lot from setting up this business with the president next door house. Anyway, so this is some of the tools which you should have. One way to show you and share with you knowledge is to tell you where to find the knowledge. Okay? If you see whatever we do here and if you want to get connected and if you have your phone, how many of you here is Android? And the rest is Apple. No, we are the iPhone. Yeah, we are the iPhone. So if you have Android or you have,
Still.
I have friends still owning BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they used to have a very nice campus. But anyway, but Sears, Tim Horton, when they close down in 2 years from now, BlackBerry, you can write it down. Between 2 to 5 years, they will shut down.
You think
Tim Horton.
Tim Hortons will shut down?
Tim Horton, yes. Yes. You know why the reason you have McAfee today? Because WestJet is serving the same coffee. That's it. If you understand the coffee business and how McDonald's, which is not in the coffee business, to create a brand of a coffee and be able to sell it to WestJet. Because in WestJet airplanes, if you travel recently, they give you the same cup, but it's white cup with WestJet logo and the same sticker. The same sticker. You can get it from the plane. If you understand how a business like that will grow against Tim Horton, which was around for so long and Air Canada never served it on other planes, and they're proud to be Canadian, you understand the difference of perception.
But Tim Hortons went down downhill after so
Nice. And not in a good way either.
Okay. Anyway, so coming back, what I believe in is if I prepare you and if you are prepared to all the unknown over there, all the possible unknowns, because we don't know what we don't know. I cannot tell you what you can find there. But if you take steps, invest in yourself, get trained in so many aspects, so many rejections, so many presentation techniques, so many use of your voice, so many use of your business strategy. If you train yourself in all of these aspects, and you'll be ready in 3 to 6 months, and you step out, and you say, I am ready now to sell, it will be an awesome experience, and you'll be able to close. You cannot close sales, you cannot close deals if you don't know how to close. And people who are closers are not born closers. Means what? They learn it somewhere. And this is one of the many ways where people can look at. And this is some of the material, we have videos for it and we do, but as I said, there are few concepts I learned in my life in the last 5 years, and I commit myself because they are so valuable. It impacts my life in an amazing way. I am committed to go around and share them with everybody. And I have a couple of private sessions with Karen, and she can tell you this quadrant I shared, that's right? Almost in every meeting. Every meeting, more than 1 hour training or coaching, I said, and I must mention this because I commit inside myself. This is the most valuable tool I ever learned. And I go to share. So if you are starting business, we know now what are your strengths. The next step is we'll talk about your weakness. How many of you like to talk about their weakness?
I like to talk about my weakness because I gotta get rid of it.
Okay, so he is very mature. Yeah, which is he's very mature. Your mindset will be mature when you want to know why things are not working. Where is your weakness? And then what you will do with your weakness? What you do with it? I will share with you by the end of this 1 hour what you can do with your weakness. So are you ready to explore the negative side of you? Okay. So if you are ready, we can start with this. If she comes tomorrow, she can pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
You know?
You'll give me one more call?
Yeah, if she comes tomorrow, she can give it. Marcel, this is the last one for
You
you.
wanted to sell it to her.
That's right.
No, she's a
Have to
nice.
practice.
She's a nice.
See that?
Practice makes
So-
perfect. Yes, yeah.
So I laughed at this because I remember one time I was giving this workshop in a different format, but it was on a cruise and in the Middle East. So I said, even Superman, everyone has weaknesses. Even Superman has his kryptonite. And somebody asked, no, Superman doesn't have a weakness. I said, no, he has his kryptonite. He said, what do you mean? So I had to go back to review the Superman for next day because I couldn't even explain it in Arabic, okay? This was one of the issues. But do you believe that each one of us has a weaknesses, right? So weakness might simply be things that you are not interested in or area you are not focused within your energy. And there's only much time in the day. So the source of weaknesses here are defined as 4. It can be lack of interest. It can be a lack of education or training. It can be lack of capacity and overused strengths, which can switch back for you to be a weakness. Okay? So we go with the same. And yeah, you know this term, which is keep your friend close and keep your enemy
Closer.
So when you know your strengths, You can use them, and when you know your weakness, what you do with them? What you do with your weaknesses? Is your weakness your enemy?
No.
Yes. In business, your strength is your friend, and your weakness is your enemy. Because your weakness can stop you and can destroy you.
But it can also teach you.
Yes, but after going through the negative experience. So when we say keep your friend closer and keep your friend close and keep your enemy closer, you have to use the same concept for your weakness. We identify the weakness, and I'm glad that everybody will leave after that, so nobody can talk about others. We had this session one time, and there's actually people went to tears because in the coffee break, people are starting to make fun of them, stuff like that. Yeah. Different ages, group, different people. So anyway, we go with the weakness. So what are the weaknesses which you are aware of? And you know for sure that we will not share lots in this section. So feel free, give yourself 2 to 5 minutes, be honest with you, with the paper, and list down what are your weaknesses that I am aware of. It can be I'm stubborn, it can be I am edgy, I have a big heart.
Is that a weakness?
Yes, a weak heart is a weakness. Remember,
Do you have a big heart?
sincere, what do you say? An insincere comment from a sincere person will not win.
But that doesn't mean that a heart is big.
Sincere person means his heart is big.
No, but that's it from an unsincere.
An insincere comment from a sincere friend.
No, that's
An
not how it's supposed to
insincere
work.
critic of a sincere person never wins.
An insincere comment from a sincere
Critic.
Critic. An insincere critic from a sincere
Person never wins.
never win. Because insincere means what? Okay. So careless critic from a careful person will not get you anywhere. Okay. So, what are the types of weakness?
I have mine.
You don't share.
Oh, I don't.
You don't share.
Let's open door.
He said, I have a friend who has this weakness. Just say that.
What?
He said, I have a friend who has this weakness.
Yeah, and part of, if you want to run or facilitate these workshops, part of it to make fun, but to make people feel comfort, and we are in a safe environment for them to share. So we cannot share everything because we also have to respect. Because if you will start, oh yeah, now I have to talk about it, I will not put it down. You know, when you don't write ideas down and you don't write stuff, what will happen? It will be in your mind. It will change every day. Some friends will call me and say, yeah, I know it. I'm not sure why. Oh, I forgot to bring my newspaper when I have my photos on it. For my community, I'm very well known in business and stuff. So people will call me, oh, I have a new business idea. Can I talk to you? Can you send it to me in an email? No, it's too much to write. Just I will tell you on the phone. Okay, you know, if you don't write down, when I show up with my colleagues and my friends, and I have tools like this, they like, no, we don't need to write. So what I will do, if you don't write, I will not buy it. So one tip for you to do, if you want people to write, you can write on 3 different colors. White napkins at Tim Horton, earth or brown napkins at Starbucks. Why you laugh? This is what we do.
Because I've done that.
I do it all the time. And at the end of your session, what you can do, you can take photos of them and post them on your Facebook wall, and guess what will happen? I guarantee every week you'll have at least one guy buying you coffee in the same place. Because everybody now wants to come to learn like that. So I only believe in writing. If you don't write, you don't start to take action. So I'll give you some time to think about what your weakness you are aware of. And if you are struggling, just ask questions. I can give you some tips how you can explore. And don't ask go ask anybody. Do you know what are my weaknesses? Okay. Why you laugh? If you don't know how to get your weaknesses, remember or don't get emotional. Remember a time where you were not happy, or you feel abused, or you felt you did not fit, or you felt you don't want to be there at this moment, and figure out what are the characteristics, or the parameters which got you into this particular situation. What makes you what puts you in a situation where you feel you don't want to be. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other tips, Mr. Meditation guy?
Tips?
Yeah, tips on how to extract our weakness.
I think basically it's what you're exactly what you said.
I thought you will say, put your hands on your tummy. No, this is what you say. Put your hands on your tummy.
On your heart.
Deep.
You haven't been paying attention.
No, it's my tummy, man. This is where the money is. My heart is empty.
In the gut first.
And put your hands deep. Then deep inhale, express. Yeah. Deep inhale, deep exhale.
Yeah.
Take your hands away. And
It's
this
much more basic than that. I remember my interviews, when somebody says, tell me your weakness. My weakness is I care too much. That's what you were taught when you were doing the interview. That's it's the same things that are taught. I'm so perfectionist. I'm just a perfectionist. I just won't let anything go. That's my weakness.
And this is the same guy, which is the tie was not really put in the middle,
Exactly.
and the buttons was not there, and he has. Yeah, I know this
That
perfection.
stayed in his head.
When just something to share with you crossed my mind right now. I was in a meeting in Toronto the other day, and I put my something we'll talk about it tomorrow. My functional and the fractional values. So one of my fractional values, which people I cannot work with, judgment. I cannot work with somebody making judgment. And then I said, okay, here is my functional values, and this my fractional values. And I felt like I'm cool, man, you know? You got these university professors giving them the workshop and say, you know what, guys? And then I believe he's a vice president of research, somebody really high in this university. He raised his hand. The whole room went quiet because he's one of the big bosses there. He said, I thought judgment is a good thing. So I said, really? He said, yes, we love it when the students can make judgment. I told him, sir, you know what, with all the due respect, I've been a professor for 22 years in 7 universities, full professors. With all due respect to our career, judgment is #1 barrier for you to sell your product or talk to anybody. If I judge anyone around me that he will not listen to me and he will not like me, I will not act as me, and I will not have a relationship. So judgment is not right. He said, no, that's not true. We teach our students how to judge and how to make a good judgment. And we start to have discussion for like half an hour.
That's a different connotation. Exactly.
Sorry?
Having good judgment is just discernment.
Having judgment,
what's right and wrong.
having a judgment overall is wrong. We have to be open and go around without judgment. No, he confusing life on campus for students. That's why many of our students will not end up being successful, especially in Canada, because we have these people who cannot find jobs other than being a professors in universities, trying to show them how to find jobs outside university. It will not work. Okay? Yes, I cannot show you what I cannot do it for myself. It doesn't mean that I have to do everything to show everybody. Like when I work with these hairdressers to build their businesses, I don't have a license. When I work with the shisha bars, I don't drink shisha that much. Okay, but if you wanna go, yeah.
That much?
So like I work with bars, people that I don't drink, which is amazing. Like how you can push a bar business triple in 6 months or 5 months, while you don't drink any. I don't even know the names sometimes. So my point is, if you cannot do it, if you cannot demonstrate you did it somewhere, but their community is different. Their community, they want to build judgment. They want to get the kids to judge, to make right judgment for their life. The minute you make a judgment in your life will stop. Because you will not be able to take advantage of the non-fear action of this young man. Remember, he ran 300 meters, sent himself in the top of the swimming pool, and he landed in the middle, 6 meters deep, 2.5 years old. Can we do it? Can we do it? Nobody can do it. Nobody can run, accelerate, and do it. So when you judge what you want to do, you will not do it. You have to practice. You have to learn. You have to move forward. And as I said, it was like a half an hour argument. It was a healthy argument. It shows me that I shouldn't go back. So when the second time when I went back, they were ready for me for the same argument. Okay, so let's move forward. When working on teams, what role do I avoid and may be important to my goals?
I have trouble with that question. I can't answer it.
Why?
That's a good question.
Share, please.
Yes.
I don't like reporting, accounting, doing the boring or routine stuff. So that's always what I try to avoid. In a team, I always make sure that I have someone on the team who likes exactly that.
Likes
In
what?
order to make sure that to like exactly what I don't like. So I don't like reporting, like writing reports or doing the accounting stuff or boring routines. That's not for me.
Mm.
That's what I always avoid.
When I sit on a team, I don't avoid any position whatsoever. For instance,
You have to be careful. No, you have to be careful because if you believe that you are good for everything, what does that say? Joker of what?
jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that's right. So if someone has this kind of approach, is great because you are open enough to take any responsibility. But where we want to go with this question is, where are the most effective areas where you should avoid because somebody else is better than you?
Ah, okay, that's a different question.
Okay. When working with a team, what roles do I avoid that may be important to my goals?
Didn't you just say it a different way?
I said in a different way.
Yeah,
As being part of a team, what are the roles which is very more effective to give it to somebody else because I am not the best guy to do it. Basically, delegate or train. This is one of the last part, which is how to apply this rule.
or could you say, when working on a team, what roles can I avoid that may be important to my goals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can answer that.
The following question will be is, when faced an overwhelming obstacle, what most likely to cause me to give up? What will make you give up? Maybe just to say that people will actually put my energy down. But when people will put your energy down, it means you have to be very careful when you select your own team members. That's right. So what makes you stop? What does make you stop?
You know, that's, can I give an example of that? Because
Please
I
do.
feel
We
like-
are here to share. I'm not, as I said, I'm not here to teach. At the very beginning, I told you I'm not teaching you anything.
So, my husband's family is quite religious, and they have their own beliefs. And when I went back to school to become a minister and further that to a reverend, they kept telling me, well, you know, you're not going to the right colleges, and you're not doing the right things, and you're never going to make it in a proper church. You cannot, like all these roadblocks that they just kept putting up. And it came to a point where one day I stood at the table and I guess I hit the point of no return, and I looked at them and I said, who are you to judge me? Because it was that you hear on a constant basis somebody telling you what you can't do, but they haven't done that themselves. So sometimes I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, so the overwhelming obstacle, well, it could be as simple as your own self, right? Are you willing and strong enough to stand in your power to be what you really want to be? Are you willing to step forward in situations that people might not think you're qualified to and say, damn it, I am? Yeah. It seemed like a very,
So what you're talking to is somehow sharing that.
Okay, guys, hold on. One thing, sorry to cut, but just have to organize the talk in a different way. In the negative side, when we talk about weaknesses, the etiquette of listening is just to listen, have empathy, not sympathy, and move on. If we defend, explain, or talk back, we will offend anyone around the table who is sharing the story. So when we are in this sorrow moment, when we talk about our weaknesses and why we shouldn't belong where we belong, the etiquette is we have empathy. We don't have sympathy. We will not sympathize with you. We will not cry. We will have empathy. We will just support you, affirm your feelings, but we never try to explain it, justify it, defend it, or to speak to it. That's why I want to make this before you go home, so you don't have to talk about anybody, okay? I had horror stories I can share with you about this particular section of the workshop. Okay? When you do like teenagers and they just cry, you know, like don't mean it's just a workshop guy, but you will get really emotional. Sorry,
No problem.
you know, that's so anyone willing to share, we will use this etiquette. That's we will not sympathize with them, we'll just empathize. And if you don't understand the difference between empathy and sympathy, let me know.
We are the most likely thing to fight or to give up is the negative criticism. If I hear criticism from friends, the problem is the problem.
And would you allow me to talk about this particular topic? Remember early on when we talk about why should I listen to you? What was the answer? You have to accept it, acknowledge it, and move forward. Sometimes people will come to you and give you negative criticism because they don't mean it. They just are so tired and they want to do it. One example, how many times we be together and say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to for an extra shopping place. And you are so tired, you don't want to really have been shopping for a full day, and you don't want to go to this second mall or second center. What you will say? You say, I'm tired, Or you will say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I have been there last week, and they have nothing new, or they don't have anything alike over there. What you will say? You will say I'm tired, or you say I have been there and nothing will fit me, or there's nothing I like. One or two? Which one you will say? No, people usually will say the opposite. People say, oh, you know what? I don't. I am not. I don't want to go there. I have been there. My friend was there, and there is nothing there I want to buy. You know, I bought enough. And she said I bought enough, and you know, if she has been through the store, usually she will buy more, but she just find an excuse. So sometimes people give you the negative criticism for one reason, to push you away for now, because they have some other priorities and they don't want you to stand in their priorities. So be careful with negative criticism and just to try to ask more questions to qualify are these real or not. So the question will be is how do I know it's real? So I will ask you, well, Karen, do you mean it? Do you really mean it? Are you serious? That's right. If I ask somebody question 3 times and he repeats the same thing, it means what? It means real. Okay? So on the social life, sometimes when we go with our friends, they suddenly remember this appointment and they suddenly remember that tomorrow 7 o'clock in the morning they have an important meeting they don't want to miss, and that's why they have to leave early. They suddenly remember this stuff. Majority of the time, these stuff are not real because they will leave the party, they will go home, they will spend another 3 hours in front of the TV. So why they didn't want to have our company? Because there's something else in the meeting happen or in the function happen or in the event happen where these people cannot say because they don't know. Their quadrant will push them to any reason. You know, sometimes we'll be like far south and we live far northwest, and oh, let's go because the bedtime. It doesn't matter. It's like 2 hours to go home. So and now it's like 7:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You know, his bedtime is like 8:30. He will sleep in the car anyway. It doesn't matter. We leave from here 8:30 or we leave from here 7 o'clock. He will sleep in the car because it takes us 2 hours to go home. It's usually something else happen. Some friction, some uncomfort, which will make people give you this criticism. Okay. Okay. Any more discussions on what when you face when you work with team, what you want to avoid? Now we move to the third question. I don't think we made the third question. Okay. So now we go to the fourth one. What was the least projects I ever tackled and what tripped me up? So the least project I ever tackled. Least successful project. As I said, if you are growing your business, tell us from the last 2 years or the last year or how long you have been in the business, what are the least successful clients you take? Did you take the least successful events did you do? And don't tell me you did not do enough Facebook ads, because it doesn't work like that. If you are looking to switch career, you can answer the questions by what is the least one. Okay. Do you need more time? And I get one question all the time when we do this exercise is when we go to this tell will ask you to go deeper and identify 3 weaknesses that you want to overcome because they may hinder your ability to achieve your goals. And sometimes we got asked the question, do we have to list the weaknesses from the page before? So how many of you have this answer? I have this question in mind. Okay. So what are we doing here is an exercise where questions are lead to others. So we prepare you with the first set of questions to answer these 3 major weaknesses which can hinder you from achieving your goal. Maybe one of them will be, and this will be on page 20. Yeah, exactly. So on page 20, go deeper, identify 3 weaknesses that you wanted to overcome because they may hinder your ability to achieve your goal. And I will leave you with this one for 4 minutes or 4 to 5 minutes. So consider yourself deeply. We can put not Macarena music, but you can put Macarena music again. Or we can leave you, grab your swords and write down 3 or more if you can. And we're gonna come back and discuss it. So someone wants to share one of the 3 weaknesses? Yeah?
One is to manage conversations, and basically, sometimes my need to win an argument overshadows my my value system, let's say, and have compassion for the other person. So I've had, in the past couple of weeks, I've had discussions with people, individuals, and I call the state of that discussion is I had them in a checkmate in an argument. But pretty much, I cornered them. There was no way out for them. I won the argument. And they responded frustrated, angry, because they were cornered. And so I didn't sense the buildup of that, and I should have moved back and had compassion take over. So had that happen, and consciously seen that happen on unfold before me, that's one thing that I need to work on.
Wow. I want to point out one thing for you guys to learn. Did you notice how Shamir responded in a very comprehensive way? And he started to give examples. That's right. Do you know why? No. He's actually in the relationship coach. He wants to make sure that you understand what he's saying and you get the point. It's something common about him. Whenever you ask him to, if you ask him to give an example, like when you were sitting and he was sitting there and you were asking, and then he started to elaborate more and more in so many ways. Sometimes we think this guy is so chattery. They talk too much. I am overwhelmed. These guys usually they are here. They love people. They want to make sure that your time is well spent. They want to make sure you got the value out of it. That's why I admire this gentleman. I really admire him because this is the way he speaks out. Okay? Sometimes he will flip in this way when you talk about putting your hands on your tummy. Is it your tummy or your heart? Okay. Okay. When he tells you put your hands on your heart and he starts this meditation and give you step by step, he will flip here. But whenever you ask him a question, he will always have a detailed answer with one or more examples. And he enforces them on you. If he meets somebody here, what will happen? These guys, would they like this communication?
That guy's in trouble.
So these people here are convergent. They don't like each other. And these people here, they don't like each other. We get divorced because we cannot align our differences. 60% of divorce in Canada, North America, because we cannot understand this. And the other 40% who did not get divorced, they have this, but it did not reach a level of friction to blow out. How many of us we know individuals living together are not happy, and they still putting it out, right? Because somehow they have some functional values which match each other. And I will show you the science with this hopefully either tomorrow or after tomorrow. The same for employees, same for employers. If employees are not having the same functional values, they will call them player C and player D of your organization. They're not playing game A, or the player A and player B. They will cross something different. But I don't want to talk about this culture of hiring and stuff. I want to just you to remember this as graph in front of you. When you talk to anybody, you have to elaborate and understand where they come from. So is there a way to stop him from giving us too much information? There is an etiquette, there is a polite way. By understanding, oh yeah, I know, I got the point. Yeah, do you mean this? And if you repeat it back to him, he will immediately stop. Because his reason not to give you the information for you to learn. Okay? I thought you might be interested to understand how you apply these rules. Because remember, information without application means fantasy. We don't want to be in a fantasy era. We want to be in transformational moment to something else. This is awesome. I like this. I love it. I love it because majority of the problems in our business is around communication. We cannot communicate to our business partners, to our customers, to our potential clients the value is what we offer. So, any other weakness around the table? Someone wants to share? You want to go?
So mine is selling from the stage. I find that I'm great with offering and showcasing my value one-on-one. However, when I'm on stage, I learn how to be smart converting.
And yeah, that's great. How many of you have the same issue? So if you have this issue, there is a piece of material I can share with you, which is, I believe there are 4 workshops we do, and this is called selling through presentation. So what we understand from psychology of buyers, people will not buy because they like you or they have a relationship with you. Those will buy from you before even you stand to the stage. Anybody who came in and like you, he would buy from you before you stand up. The question is how you convert. And how you convert, I can ask Shamir to share his experience through the information. You feel comfortable sharing? Yeah. Can you share? What did we do together?
Oh, yeah. So,
Without any confidential information.
yeah, no, I had a workshop in April where it was way out north of there. We did something with Regina anyway. So I sat down with Ryan and I basically said my conversion rates were not that good on stage, selling from stage, because I was more informational on stage. And I wasn't really getting the point across. So sat down with Ryan, he showed me how to take my information and shape it in a way, and again that's the body of knowledge that we're going to, different topic altogether, but shape it in a way that you use the challenger model, which he talks about now. And I went in there skeptical, and so I did my thing, and the first time I spoke from the stage, I had 2 events. One was speaking from the stage, took one of them into a workshop for people in the evening, and so these people were coming in there. So I had like a 30 or 40% conversion, which I've never had. So and then in that I upsold them to another program, and I had another 30 to 40% conversion using the same kind of approach. I didn't cheat anybody on information. I just rearranged the information and I hit.
No, we used only 2 PowerPoint slides from the 30 some slides you were using. The others were mine, okay?
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, okay?
No, but I did not compromise on the information.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing that I was him and I said, I want to give them a value. I do not want I don't want to be salesy. And we just rearranged the information and we highlighted certain things, punched it up, and I spoke to the pain points. I spoke to what they were there for. And I feel good about it because when it came to my upsell, these guys have transformational experiences within, I said 21 days, they were having 7 to 14 days, and they were sending me notes. I got emails, unsolicited emails. So I felt good about it that I wasn't being salesy and selling them on something that wasn't valuable to them. That really helped. So.
However, did you get similar notes from the workshops in the years before? From somebody sending you similar feedback?
I got similar feedback, but I had very little. The program was still the program, but I would not be able to convert them. I hardly got anybody converting to my program.
And this is a point which I go around and try to push. When I share these models, I say there's a science behind it. If you want to convey your message, first of all, if you have a message that you trust, and the trust is good, it can move sad face to a happy face. I can show how you can use these models to transform your whole presentation into a sales presentation. Under one condition, you have to be open. He said he was, what did you say?
I was coming.
No, he was skeptic. Yeah, it took like 6 weeks. 6 weeks to because the way it works is like everything is you have the knowledge, and there are some techniques which is I learned and I mastered and I shared. When I put the knowledge to these techniques and you go and come back to practice, what will happen? Usually, the self-talk, the old thoughts will get back. So it takes some time to change. It takes about 6 weeks to 6 months for you to adapt a new routine. Right now, they say 66 days to change. So this is what put me apart from anybody like business coach or anybody calling themselves business coaches in town is I only focus on these areas. How you can articulate and sell an information, not a product, or a product based on information. There are so many other people who I can point out around the table who can share positive experience on that. But for the sake of the time, I just want to. These are not born. When you go to Toastmaster, and I'm a member of CAPS as well, Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and I'm a member of the Speaker Club, and I'm executive member of Public Speaking Associations. All these associations, including TEDx, by the way, they are not meant to sell products. All teachings there are wrong. No, they are not wrong, but they cannot sell a product. Like in Toastmasters, they are very great. They say, you have the time and you have the green, the right, red, green, and yellow, and they have the timers and you have to start on time. You can't. If you don't have a heart connection, you will not be able to sell it. If these people Toastmaster rules are there, we would not be able to dance Macarena today. Because there is no heart. It's all for me is the experience. It's the experience with you guys, the experience you have, the amount of knowledge you can get, and how you can apply this knowledge is what matters. None of this Toastmaster or CAPS or any of those businesses is relevant to sell from the stage. There is only maybe 1% of speakers around the globe who are selling from the stage. When someone will show you the power of a story, it's great. Will this story sell? Most likely not. So I will share with you tomorrow some structured stories which can help you selling. For some of you might be old material, but you can always review it. I'm sorry. Don't expect all the material new, okay? I cannot reinvent the wheel every time. The wheel has to run it, okay? Any more questions here? Any more discussion? Can we have one more before we move forward? One more weakness. Mariana, do you want to share? Don't share the internet, and don't share the landing page, and don't share the website. Okay, share.
Okay, so I'm not asking for the sale. Going back to the pain points when I'm doing complimentary sessions, and then I get the pain points out of people. I'm really good at that, and also showing them how I can make a difference. What I do, I make a difference, and then I'm really hesitant about asking the sale. But this week I decided to be bold and start asking for it. So, at least I had 25% conversion.
So the question around the table is, how many of you have this weakness? We are shy enough to ask for the sale.
Mm-hmm.
And the question here will be, why you have this weakness? Is it the problem you don't have a clear offer? Is it the problem you don't have a written offer? Is it the problem that you don't know what are you selling? You understand that there are some people on the streets, they don't know what are they selling? And I can ask a specific questions, they will not know. So we always have a fear of asking because we expect people will reject what are we asking for.
I think for me it's rejection.
Okay? If it's rejection and you are prepared with answers like how you feel, this what you felt, I know how you feel, other people felt and that they found, and it comes naturally with the same pace, with the same voice, and we can talk to the nice Sandy here to tell us how we can maintain our voice. And this will come normally in the conversation. People will not feel it. People will not feel, oh, yeah, this is an objection. I've been put in so many situations where I have to be able to speak on my feet. Like just the very first time I met Shamir, it's something I cannot forget for the rest of my life. It's not because of you, man. It's not because of you. Because I was put in an event and I was invited to this event, and people say, we want you to come to be one of the speakers on resilience, on a topic. I said, yeah, let's just go there. And then they said, we will speak about resilience. And what we are doing, we are getting these 7 or 8 speakers, and they want to do a competition between you guys on resilience. I said, okay, what is the topic? I didn't want to look awfully bad because I didn't know what this means. At that moment, I did not know what this word about. I didn't know how even to spell it. I stand on the stage and I was second, and at the end I ranked second because everybody said, you did a great job on a word which is I first time exposed to. I begged to be second or third because I needed these 7 minutes to go to my cousin and get specific pieces of information. That's it. Once I got this information, I learned that resilience is huge. I learned that so many kids in high school will fail into drinking beers and drugs and so many because they don't have resilience. I learned so many things. I got all the statistics I need. I stand on the stage, I put them in my sequence, and voila. People told me it's good. One of the comments I received, I wonder how many times did you practice this particular topic? You were there. And I didn't want to reply. You know what? I just debated on my feet right now. Because I know the framework. I know what to do, what to look for. You can put it there. You practice 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's it. You get it from your heart. The minute you start to hype, like when we have fear from the stage, what we do? People stand like this. That's right. Or people stand like this. Because they try to hold themselves. If you know how to anchor yourself, how to stand, nothing will be worse than failing, so you'll not fail. So asking for the sale is very important. It's the only way to keep us alive. It's the only way to keep our business sustainable by creating income. So the question for this weakness is you are asking for the sale is because you don't have a clear offer, so let's make a clear offer. You don't have language or script to offer the sale and be convincing, let's build them. We have all what we understand as parameters. And guess what? If your clients and audience don't have this, you are only selling to 80% of the population. There's other 20 will not buy from you because it's you. That's it. There are people who will not buy from you because it's you.
Yes.
And this is our 20%. So our job is not to sell. Our job is to sort through individuals to find out those who wants to buy from us. So when I switch my mind in this way, I will not fear from objection. One more tip. One more tip is when I share with my clients and my customers who pay me well, pay me very well. When I share with them to get their hands to my journey, when I invite them to my journey, I will convince myself I am not a salesman. So we have this mastermind group. I don't like to call it mastermind. We have this working group actually happening every other Saturday, 3 hours in the same table. Some of the faces here, they are part of this group. Some are not. And we sit here for 6 hours every month working on the business. And we are surrounded with speakers, coaches, businesses very similar to yours, okay, in the activities. And this is what we do. We surround ourselves, and I always invite people to come. And you know what? People will come and say, oh, you have to pay money. You know what? No, guys, just come. If the group for you, believe me, you will pay more than we ask for. If the group is not for you, it's okay. And if the group is for you and you believe you cannot afford it right now, no problem. Just come for a few sessions, impact your business, grow your business, and you go there, and when you see you make money, you come back and be part of the regular. We don't care. We would like to help others. We would like, if we can afford, we pay. If we cannot afford, not a big deal. So when you invite people to your journey, it will take away your fear that you are, what he said, salesy. Sometimes we invite. Sometimes we don't share. Sometimes we don't sell. Sometimes we invite. The third element for that is, and you were in this particular workshop, we know that there are 16 types of buyers. Have you ever heard about that? So, people making decisions based on 4 emotional triggers. If you multiply, if you put them into priority 1 to 3, so if these priorities will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4, 2, 3, 1, and you put all these combinations, 4 times 4 is 16. And this is what makes 16 buyers. That's it. So when you have 16 buyers, one of them is the white hat. Do you know what's the white hat, people? What this term coined to? What's the white hat buyer?
They want to feel that they're in power.
These are the gods. These people will not allow you to ask them for the sale. They are giving it to you.
Or like the lady at the hotel, and the seller.
Yeah? Do you wanna elaborate on it?
No, you mentioned earlier on, you had the example of the lady going to the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Ordering the coffee for $20, leaving like $10 dinner, and not even sipping from the coffee.
These are the people with a high ego. Somebody with a high ego will have most likely a deep pocket. So these people, you cannot ask them for the sale. You invite them to the journey. And there are this, on the other hand, there is this tribunal, which basically people like to live in tribes. Majority of them will be relationship-related people. People who have hard time in their life. These people, if you stand by them and say, would you mind that we sign the agreement together? And this is exactly what you do. Would you mind if we sign the agreement and you pass the agreement? Let's sign the agreement together. When I pass you the pen and the paper, who will sign? You or me? It's not together. But this kind of language will resonate better with somebody at the tribunal level. When somebody doesn't see herself as a leader, she doesn't leave her feminine power as what Karen, I don't want to use her language, but I quote you all the time, okay? If somebody does not feel her feminine power, she does not feel she cannot make a decision. So to overcome this, you have to use this language. Now, do we have to memorize the 16? No. Majority of your business will be around 3 to 4. So there are 16 buyers. There is actually, I believe there is this book as well. All the 16 buyer qualities and how you can approach them and what kind of language, which is a universal language. So you have to take the language and make it personalized to your own business. Okay? And at that level, you will be better engaging them into conversations. So this is one of the fears that people fear how to solve. Was this helpful? Any more questions? Any more? Okay. Now we go to the next level, which is validate. So how do we validate these weaknesses? So this is a little bit difficult. And did anybody identify a weakness that you were not already aware of? So we did not have the personal impact survey, but to give you some ideas, so if, we can actually set up the survey if you guys like. Did you discover the other saw strengths in you that you thought it was weaknesses? And the last 2 questions. Look at weaknesses that you and others identify. Which weaknesses are not essential to your career goal? And the last one, which weakness might hold back from getting where you need to go? This is where you will want to focus your energy on. Okay, so this is our, I will just cross past this part and I want to go to the most important part. So, how we can how we can um, activate our weaknesses. Do you know 3M? Do you know 3M? What's 3M?
Mitigate, manage.
No, it's a company doing fine films. You know 3M, they do films, they do paper, they do material, okay.
Post-its,
Posted, you know.
Scotch tape.
So the same company which is using Scotch tape, we use their acronym from 3M, and they call it is, the first way is you have to mitigate. What do you mean mitigate? Mitigate means you minimize the impact of your weakness by choosing fields and areas where it's close to you. Can you give an example? Yes. If you are not good with process people operation, don't go sell downtown. If you are excellent with with I call them human being because relationship people are human beings. If you are good in selling in a specific quadrant, don't go to the other ones. If you are good with indigenous, like our good friend, the indigener, Leanne, you don't go anywhere else. This is where she is powerful. Okay? So you can mitigate, you can avoid using your weaknesses. The other part is to manage it. How to manage it? Is to focus only on those weaknesses that may be holding back from achieving your goal, and you basically manage your operation identifying these weaknesses. And the last part is to master it. How you master it? So seize opportunities to build these skills so it will serve you well. Consider leveraging help of mentor to turn your weakness into strengths, at least to develop it. It's a concept of surrounding yourself with people who can help you master this weakness. Seek help from others. So you can belong to a group, you can go learn it yourself. Can each one of us learn everything and anything? Yes, if we have unlimited amount of time. Do we want to learn more than what we do right now? No. So if I have a weakness, what should I do? Should I hire somebody, or should I learn it to overcome it? Which one can you decide?
Can you hire someone while you're learning to overcome it?
You can also, this is a very interesting, this is a very good strategy. And I like this strategy because this is the way I operate. I like people to show me how they do stuff I don't know. So when they disappear and I try to hire somebody else, I look like an expert. But I cannot help it. So these are the mitigations, manage and master your weaknesses. Any questions? So the last part, which I will leave you, you can do it. Basically, you should go on the skills, and you can type down the skills. You can expect your current level. You can seek a mentor or resource and opportunity that you can use. Okay? Any questions on this particular section? Tomorrow we'll talk more about passion and some other stuff and values, which is more interesting than weaknesses. So, yeah, it's over. Blank page. So this particular part of the workbook, it talks on weaknesses. So the question for you right now, was this useful? Practice. Do you really learn from this practice something useful?
Yes.
So what did you learn, Sandy?
I think the biggest thing I learned was the features and benefits. That it's actually the features that sell. You mean in the whole thing, or in just in the segment?
However you feel, whatever you feel,
Okay.
how you want to answer it, we are
Okay.
all ears toward you.
So there it is. Yes. So interesting. Yes, about the feature selling as opposed to the benefit selling.
Okay.
that was very interesting. But this last segment as well brought up some things that I'm finding that they are weaknesses that I can turn into strengths when I change my mindset.
Okay. You now relate to Marcel's comment when he said, like, when you do this more than one time, you can better understand,
Oh, absolutely.
you know.
I've already done it today. Put the first things down and then started to realize through some of the conversation that there are other things that I felt would
So
be a weakness.
some
at
people
this
will
point.
come to me and say, like, it's really worse for us to come as a VIP or not VIP, or is it come to worse to come to you guys? I said, you know what? This is just awareness. Is the whole value. If you are aware of different people, if you are aware of different ways to sell, if you are aware that you are weak and strong in some aspects of your life, I feel this is worth every single minute you attended here. Okay, good. So, someone else wants to reflect? Volunteering and reflections? So, what did you learn from today?
A lot. My brain is a noodle right now.
Oh my God! So you're not coming tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'll be here.
Sure.
As long as I can drive.
You can actually carpool with some people coming from the far south, because there are lots of people around here from the far south.
I like the Foursquare model. I've never seen that before, and I want to really delve deeper into it so that I get a better understanding of that whole concept. And it's really helped me look at different things that I have thought to be challenges in the past that really are gifts to move forward with. So, yeah.
Does anyone believe that we wasted any time today? Like, did you feel like your time was wasted? No? Nobody? So, Ariana, you wanna reflect on what happened today?
Well, I think it was really good to look at, for me to acknowledge some weaknesses. And so now I know something I can work on and have a different look at it.
And one of the biggest weaknesses for our age and our criteria against others right now is this whole interactions of technology. You call it social media, you call it Facebook, you call it whatever it is. The issues I have personally as a challenge, and I have bachelor degree in computer science and control engineering, master, 2 PhDs, MBA, and 6 diplomas in law. And when I stand in front of my son, I get him to fix my car. Because the technology went to a level that we cannot comprehend. So with all of my research and patent and these areas in video technology and communication, I face a challenge. And I feel, not heartbroken, but I feel your feelings when you came and said, I just was there all doing all of this. I work with people who just all their life was painting. And right now they want to have to use all of these paints online to sell. I feel it's not our comfort zone anymore. But the trouble is, majority of our customers will come from where? From this age bracket. Majority of our customers will be impacted by this age bracket. If the girl will go to her mom and say, buy that, she will buy. If you tell her, don't buy that, she will not buy. And the serious issues I want to touch upon right now is when somebody approaches you with a proposal, you don't know, you cannot judge is it good, bad, or wrong. You cannot judge it. Somebody will say, okay, I will apply you on social media and I get $500. I don't know what's wrong with the $500. Everybody's selling everything for $500. Like, I decided not to have any offer $500 a month. Either $549 or $449 or $497, but no $500. How often did you hear $500 a month for anything and for everything? So when you get these proposals, we don't have the know-how to qualify if this is a good service or not. Just by incident, I don't like to use the word accident. Within the last 2 days, I got a phone call of one of my close to my heart customer, and he said, I have this proposal, somebody wants to take over developing my own website for that much, and I see the very good price. So I start to argue with him and say, you know what will happen when this contractors will disappear? What will happen when you want to change? What will happen when you give them? When we start to talk about few things, we came back to the conclusion exactly like what you do. Come to a table, come to a room where 6 different people doing the same similar website activity development. All of us are blind, leading the blind, but all of us getting somewhere, and get your hand dirty and do it. This is what we conclude at the end. So I feel the technology. Like when you want to talk about weakness of technology, I feel it. And I use my skills to bring it simple. And tomorrow we'll talk more about how the website, how the internet, how this stuff will connect together in between the work without. Any last reflections or comments? Or
Thank you for an awesome day.
I appreciate your time, and we are about 5 o'clock, like 3 minutes to 5. I always like to close on time, and I apologize we did not start today on time. If you want on the VIP side, if you want to come tomorrow at 8:30, we can start earlier for the VIP session. If you want to sign for the VIP, check with Marcel. And see you tomorrow at 9 for the general seatings. And
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.